Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and as you can see by the title, we are testing the assists on the brand new F122 game. And this has been a debate, very much so over the last few years in the competitive scene, whether whether assists are too powerful. In a competitive context, you always see certain people complaining, oh, you did this lap with ABS, so it doesn't mean as much, or you did this lap with medium traction control. And I've always been fascinated by this debate, whether how it affects certain people over certain games. As you can see here, on our first lap on the Silverstone circuit, we come into turn 3 and lock up on the curb. But I think that is more of a curb thing than a a non-anti-lock brake thing. We come and test it again next lap round, only nudging the curb on that occasion and getting away with it nicely. But we're just basically at the start of this one, we're gonna get a feeling for the car, feeling for the track. It's my first laps around this track in the dry as well, in this realistic performance Williams. So yeah, plenty to get used to. And this was filmed just after the WOR Silverstone race on F1 2021. So it's going to be a little bit of a adjustment process over these first few laps. But we are obviously starting off with our no assist just to lay a benchmark down, and then we're going to try and hunt it down on the certain assists that people can use and be quite quick with, so ABS and medium traction. But as you can see, we understood a little bit wide through Copse Corner there, just getting a feel for the grip that we have at our disposal with this default setup as well. But we're going to finish this lap, see how it is. As you can see, it's just so different compared to the grip that you have on the F1 2021 game. But that's for a multitude of reasons. But I think this still can serve a really good purpose to compare the different assist platforms. But as you can see, we did a high 28, I think a 28.8 on that previous lap, invalidated. So we're going to go through here now, try and put a valid lap on the board with our no assists, and see whether you can possibly go faster with these certain assists. And obviously I'm not an assist player, I may not be able to use these things to their maximum straight away, whereas people who have been using it for weeks, months, and maybe even years will do maybe a bit, can maybe abuse them a little bit better, if that's a way of saying it. But as you can see, we're 10th and a half up on our 28.8, and we're going to try and keep it in bounds as we head through Copse Corner here. Let's see how well we do that. Turning nice and early, expecting that understeer that we got last time, taking that pretty nice and cleanly, and then we're going to chuck it through here, through Beckett's, and finishing off through Chapel, heading on to this final main straight, the Hangar Straight, start sector 3, and we're almost 2.5 tenths up, heading into Stowe Corner. Once again, chucking it in, staying in 6th gear this time. Losing a little bit of time. We're still experimenting with this car, with the gripper we have available. So none of these laps are going to be, the optimal, but we're going to try and deliver a decent one nonetheless. We lose a little bit of time through the last corner, and we set a 28.7 there as our target. So we're going to jump straight into the settings, into the assist, and we're going to stick on the anti-lock brakes. So essentially this means we can sort of barrel into corners, slam the brakes, and have no consequences in terms of lockups or anything. And at a track like Silverstone, it shouldn't make too much difference. It's not like a hard braking zone track. However, this is just the track. If it makes a difference at this track, then it's certainly going to make a difference at others. For example, Monaco, Baku, tighter tracks with some decent stopping zones. So let's see if we're in for any trouble. We try that curb again with the ABS just to see if it was the curb or the brakes, and it wasn't as bad with ABS, but you can see there it was still the curb kind of not bottoming the car out, but it wouldn't allow the car to turn in without having some, you know, major loss of traction on that front end. As you can see here, we've gained a decent bit of time there through those couple of braking zones of turn 3 and 4, and we're just over half a tenth up on our own time within a couple of laps. So that was quite interesting. I found when I was heading through this section here as well, that we have to do a little bit of braking and turning at the same time. It was quite beneficial, but we make a significant mistake there, and that's just us not being up to speed on this F1 22 game. And again, you can see we're making a few mistakes. So we'll head through Copse Corner on another lap, and we'll go wide. So yeah, we're just making a few mistakes, making sure we get a good lap in, making sure we're still pushing the boundaries the same as we did on that lap, but as you can see, overstepping the mark and ending up in the barrier once again. But this one, I think, was, you know, a pretty good start to the lap. As you'll be able to see here, we're a couple of hundreds up already before we even get to a braking zone. Nice and early into the apex, early on the throttle, and we can just chuck it into the apex, no consequences whatsoever. And we are, how much, 70 thousandths up, nearly 80 thousandths, as we head down the Wellington Straight to the end of Sector 1. So we're looking pretty good on this lap, getting earlier into the apex, early on the throttle, and we're over a tenth up now, and this is looking like a very good lap. However, yeah, that was that was an annoying one. But now seriously, we're enough of the mistakes, enough of getting used to the track. We are going to put hopefully a very good lap in, and this will be our best lap with the ABS on. I can confirm now. No more mistakes, no more bait. We're going to head into turn 3 now. Not as good into the apex, didn't gain as much, but still looking decent. Holding 4th gear this time, early into 5th. And gaining a decent amount, not quite as much as the time before, only half a tenth this time, just under. But still, we are improving on our non-assist lap, which is quite interesting. As I said, on a track like this, we're just under a tenth up now. We're 90 thousandths up as we head up to Copse Corner, the old turn 1 of this Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, throwing it in there nicely. Didn't do it quite as nicely, but we gained a little bit on the exit to recoup that time. Let's see how well we can take this Beckett section. Super committed there, even with the understeer in the car. We do that pretty nicely, and we're just over a tenth up now, heading through the last sector of this lap here. How well can we take the Stowe corner? Any better than last time? Let's see. About the same, but we know there's a little bit of time in this last chicane, so if we can take this nicely, there is a bit of time waiting for us for free. We clipped that curb on the inside, didn't do us too many favours, lose the back end a bit, and we gained a little bit, but not too much. But yeah, we improved to a 28.5, and I was pretty surprised by that. By no means was our first lap perfect, but I didn't think we would be beating our time with ABS. But nevertheless, we're going to jump into the next one with medium traction, and this was an interesting one. I started off on the F1 games with medium traction on, and I was pretty competitive up until about F1 2017 when I turned it off, like at the end of F1 2017. But I was still as quick as most people. But as you can see there, we do make a bit of a mistake, but just through the acceleration zone, we are nearly 2 tenths down through the first sector. And you know, I haven't driven with any sort of traction assist on any game for a long time. However, this feels very, very different to anything I've ever experienced from a medium setting. This almost feels like a full setting from what I remember in the past. And heading through Copse Corner now, we are 3.5 tenths down, almost 4 tenths. Now, that is completely different to what I was expecting. Normally, medium traction could hold pretty well with no traction, and I've heard a lot of complaints in the past that, you know, medium traction is just too OP. You can just sort of slam the throttle and get no consequence. which I can kind of agree with in the past games. But this one, we're nearly 6 tenths down heading into the last couple of corners here, and that's a huge margin. But we're going to set ourselves up here, and this will be our fastest lap on the medium traction. That was a kind of warm-up lap, and here we go. Let's see how close we can get. That was a 29.3 last time round. Can we get into the 28s with this medium traction control setting? Try and set a good lap here. Missing the apex of turn 3 slightly there. Maybe getting used to the ABS in a way. We've turned that back off now, but again, we lose time off of the loop and down this straight. Nearly two tenths down once again, and I can't put all that down to driving. You know, you don't have to hit those apexes so much. As long as you're not super wide, you can still get a very good exit out through entry onto that Wellington straight. But once again, we're 2.5 tenths down heading into Copse Corner, and it's not looking good for a 28 if we're going to continue losing time like this. 3 tenths down now as we head into the legendary Maggots of Beckett section. Down through the gears, one by one, a little bit wide on the exit there, and starting sector 3, we are 3.5 tenths down. So yeah, unless there's some sort of miracle through this last sector, we are not going to be beating our ABS time or our no assist time. You know, that's a 28.5 and a 28.7 respectively that I aim for as we head through the last corner here. Half second down, and we're just gonna miss out on the 28s there, a mid zero. As you can see there's the delta. Those are the sectors. But just before I finish off the video, I just wanted to go out one more time, just to sort of get myself back to the, you know, feeling the no assist, but also to see whether I could improve on that ABS time, because I was not satisfied with being slower with no assist. So we're gonna try and send it on this lap and see whether we can find a little bit more time. We can slightly wider apex there, straighten the car up earlier. Well, go on the throttle earlier, I should say. A bit more committed, and we're matching ourselves to the end of this definitely not last, first sector, gaining a lot of time through the middle of there, but we lose it on the entry, and as a result of that, up and down like a yo-yo on the delta, we have 20 thousandths to show for it, but at least we're still in the green, and that is the main thing. Just keeping it within the track limits, but losing a little bit of time there through Copse Corner, and we're going to be absolutely, you know, dead on through this Maggots of Beckett section. But we take that pretty nicely, get on the throttle nice and early there, and we're going to gain a decent little bit of time out onto this hanger straight, just under 20 thousandths up. And this is a bit more like it. We do not want to stop and allow ABS to win. That's not really what I want to see. Heading through this last corner, just a couple more corners to negotiate. Lose a little bit of time on the entry, going a bit too deep, but across the line we do improve ever so slightly to the 28.547. So, you know, just, you know, a matter of thousandths separating us there from our ABS time. But at the end of the day, the no assists do come out on top, but not by a lot. And it'd be very interesting for me to see, you know, through these different circuits, how powerful the ABS can be. You know, tracks like Baku spring to mind immediately. You know, the long straights and the big braking zones. But I think that's a video for another time. But as for today, the no assists come out on top very narrowly. Medium traction control, unless you need it, I wouldn't go near it. It just feels like a little bit too much assistance, and yeah, you just can't really be aggressive and yeah, find the time that you really want. But that's been it for me, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.